different stroke. Started out of nowhere.
Welcome to A Different Stroke, where each stroke tells a different story. I'm Eric, a stroke survivor. Today's conversation I wanted to share with y'all is about the complications of dealing with a stroke. When I first had my stroke, it was nowhere that I can go and talk to, and I had no information about stroke. I didn't know what the stroke was. I had nobody that actually knew that had a stroke that I can go to for information. All my information came from doctors and older people. My uncle had a stroke a long time ago and he was older, so I didn't have no clarification like how to deal with a stroke right now in real time. So that's basically what I created this channel for, is to kind of give people the information of stuff, kind of answers that I was looking for when I had my stroke. But one of the things, other than that, it's one thing I want to talk about of all things is the depression part of it. At first I'm gonna say that I kind of overlook depression and how people feel about depression just with everyday life, not on top of having a stroke or no situation like that. But I didn't think depression was a real thing. I thought it was just people use to like a cliche what people say. But due to the time that I had my stroke, and I know it basically because I had a stroke and it's like my body ain't healing the way I expected to heal and stuff like that. But if I be honest with you guys, I'm just telling you, like, the depression part of the stroke, not only me not walking good and left side of my body is paralyzed and I'm trying to get it back together, rehabbing, but the depression part of that is by far the worst part of it. I kind of took it for granted when I first got into it. I fell into some deep, dark depression, and it was so bad. Like, that's kind of stuff that I want to talk about because it was so bad. And then I didn't have the information because I was anxiety on top of depression. So I would talk to my counselor and stuff, and she would tell me that maybe I should talk to my doctor. My doctor prescribed me like some medication to treat my depression and anxiety. But what they didn't tell me is that for the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks of me taking the medication was that my depression got worse. It was really, really, really dark depression type thing happening after I started taking the medication. So that's the kind of information I want to put out there because a lot of people tell you like if somebody tell them they got anxiety or somebody say they got depressed, even if the doctor prescribes you some medication to treat that, they don't tell you that in the first 2 weeks of you taking the medication, that depression and that anxiety gets worse. It's really, really hard to kind of wrap your mind around it, and it's so uncomfortable for me to discuss this because here it is growing up the way I grew up. It's like, as a man, you have to be taught to not carry your weight, not to, like, to compress that, not to show your emotions and be tough, be strong. It's that information. And it's like, once you start getting older and you start realizing that some of the stuff that I learned through that process was not always the right way to handle things or even the right information. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm unpacking things and I'm being transparent, which is one of my art pieces right there. That's what that art piece represents, is being vulnerable. It's a man balled up, showing his vulnerability and being transparent. That's like one of my favorite pieces right there because that's where I'm at with it right now today. And I just wanted to share that because going back to the topic, I want to share the fact that when somebody give you, like, if you get to a situation where it's that bad and you need some type of medication, nobody never told me that in the first 2-3 weeks is that depression is get worse. It get bad. It get really, really bad. And the anxiety get bad. But then after the 2 or 3 weeks, you start seeing how it help you and how it bring you out of those dark places and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was really dark. That's why I came on here to share this information with y'all. And like I say, everything is not gonna be perfect. And I like to always use the analogy that this a situation from my perspective, my stroke, and from my perspective, how I dealt with it. Not saying it's the right way to handle things or the doctor way to doing things. Way I dealt with it in my situation. This how I'm navigating my way through this. Because again, I didn't have nobody I can go talk to and get the information from. So that's like I said, this is why I created this channel, to give people the information. Like, at least if they come pass by it or just happen to stumble up on this channel, me talking, and they dealing with a stroke, or they know somebody dealing with a stroke, it's like, well, I heard a guy on here say such and such, and this how he dealt with that. If they open to share that with you, or if you're the person that's actually going through the stroke. So if you is dealing with that, you can say, well, wait, I heard him talk about this. It's just food for thought. If you care to use it, hey, use it. And that's what this channel is all about. I'm just here to get the information and tell what I dealt with, how I navigated through it, and how I made the best situation out of it. It's still a process. I trust the process. That's what my bracelet say, trust the process. I trust the process, but sometimes it get hard. It get dark, and sometimes it become unbearable. I remember when I first started my depression, I would lay up in my little content room, and I wouldn't even open the blinds. It was that dark. Then when I finally got on the medication, it seemed like it got worse. For the first 2-3 weeks, it got bad. But now that was over like 6 months ago or something. I'm past it now. But those times come and go. Like, some days I might get so depressed that I might get emotional. And but I'm not at that dark place that I used to be. So with that being said, like I say, if you feel that this information is helpful, hey, that's all I'm here for, is to get the information and talk about how I navigated through it. And that way, if it registered with you, hey, it's about sharing information. Till next time, y'all take it easy and stay strong. You can push through. Whatever you get through today, if you can find a way to get through today, and tomorrow will take care of tomorrow. I promise you. Take it easy.
A different stroke started out of nowhere. 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 It's happening to younger people. Happening to younger people. It's happening to younger people. Happening to younger people. The road to recovery is different for everyone.